Welcome to the QuickStart Raceway setup video brought to you by Roberts Tech. After you remove the track from the shipping box, this is what you'll have. The track with the two end caps. There's a note that tells you to remove the shipping screws, which we'll do in a minute. And there's also a note here that tells you how to fold the track out. These end caps can be reused to help store the track. The track can be stored under a bed, standing up in a closet, anywhere as long as it's not wet. You don't want any water coming in contact with the track. So again, these end caps can be used for storage. It kind of helps hold everything together, and so you can hold on to these for that. So the first thing we're going to do is remove these, and then we'll remove the shipping screws. Now that the end caps are removed, we can get to both shipping screws. There's just a note here reminding us to remove those. You can just discard that. You need a number 2 Phillips screwdriver to remove these screws. Now you can save these screws to use again if you ever transport the track where it might get jostled around a little bit, inside a car or RV. Otherwise, you don't need to put these back in. You can store it just fine without these shipping screws. Just hold on to them if you ever have to ship the track, or again move it in an area in a car or something where it's going to be bouncing around. You may want to put those screws in. Okay, with the shipping screws out, the track is now free to be unfolded. It just literally unfolds like that. So the next step is to make sure it's oriented properly. This diagram helps you figure that out. Diagram tells you to put this side up, and it's going to fold out that direction. The track, when it's folded up, is less than 3 inches thick. It's 4 feet long, 2 feet wide. Now that it's folded up, you can see the unique construction. Power goes through these circuit boards to the different lanes, connects to the braid and the hinges. So the power is transferred through the hinges, through the circuit, into the braid, and that's how the power jumps from one section to the next. Completely solid, no loose connections, no connectors. It's a patented method of actually transferring the power on a racetrack like this. To unfold the track, you're going to lift the top 3 sections from this end. It'll hinge up. Now at this point, you're going to take the top 2 sections and you're going to swing them around. And you can lay them down, and then you flip out the last section and the track is set up. Now I have this track on a table in my basement, and my basement has a low ceiling, so I can't flip this over. If this track were on the floor, I could just flip this over and the track could be set up. But for me in my basement on this table, I'm going to have to do something a little different. So when this is up, what I would do instead is I would let this last section come out, and then I would lay the whole thing down all at once. And there we have the track, straight out of the box, fully assembled, ready to go. No connectors, no wiring. All the power transfers through the hinges into the next section. So this is a very reliable connection method, and you'll never have a problem with connections between the different sections. The track is constructed from a hybrid material, very similar to what they use to make the large commercial tracks that you may remember. back in the 60s, these big commercial tracks came out and you would go pay some money and race. And those tracks are few and far between now, which is why a track like this at home is really nice. So this material is a combination of MDF and plywood, and that gives us the strength and a little lightweight, and also prevents warping. Now the old commercial tracks were painted. This is actually laminated, and so this is a hybrid of 3 different materials, and it's specially made for these tracks. So the advantages again are it's lighter, it doesn't warp, and you don't have to worry about any paint. This surface has a texture on it and you get really good traction. The track does have to be seasoned to get the best traction, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So that's the material the track is made of. Very sturdy, it'll last forever. The next step is going to be wiring up the control panel. These are the controls that come with the set. Very high quality controls. We'll talk about those later. These are 2 power packs. The track is wired with 2 separate circuits so that the lanes do not affect each other. If you remember the old tracks we used to run on, when one guy would slow down, the other guy would get more power, and so that would cause power surges. Having a separate power pack for each lane, you don't have that problem. It comes with this cord, which allows you to plug in the 2 power packs together, and then you have a single plug to put into the wall. Then these 2 would go into the separate lane inputs, and that would be your power connection. Next is the controllers, which would go into the 3 inputs, red, white, and black. This is exactly the same as the old commercial tracks. In fact, these controllers are the same ones that you used to use back on the big track. We have red, white, and black. We simply put those into these holes. There's a copper connector in there they clamp onto. And now your controllers are connected. So next I'm going to go ahead and plug in some other power packs that I have down here so I can apply power to the track. With power applied to the track, you see the 2 green lights, and at this point you are ready to race. Power in both lanes. The track has built-in overload protection, so if you had a problem with the car or if something shorts out the track, everything is protected. The other possibility is if you were to connect the controller wrong, put them in the wrong spot, you've now shorted out the power supply. You see it goes into overload. At that point, it's just in overload and it won't hurt anything. Okay, so it has an overload that shuts down the power. So you don't have to worry about damaging the track by connecting anything incorrectly. And once you figure out what's wrong, put it back the way it should be, and now once again, you're ready to race. So next I'm going to run some laps here. As I said, the track is a laminated surface, so you don't have to worry about scratching it, and it is a little slick straight out of the box. There is a method to getting a little more traction, but even straight out of the box, it can be a little slippery, but it's like drifting. The other lane. These cars are the same type of car that raced on the big tracks. They're actually made for the big tracks, but these are 1/32 scale. The cars you may remember are 1/24 scale, a little bigger than this. These came out, I'm not sure the year they came out, but they called them Womps. There's quite a few different models. It is a steel chassis, foam tires. They're completely rebuildable. Every part is available. And something I have forgotten to mention up to this point is that everything here is made in the USA. There are a couple of pieces like the power packs that do come from overseas, but the track itself is manufactured here in the United States. Braid comes from a source here in the United States. These cars are made in the USA. So everything you see pretty much is made in USA, assembled in the USA. And all the parts are available, and so you can maintain this track yourself. On this track, the best traction is achieved with just an application of a light spray oil, and you wipe it all down. You actually spray it onto the rag, wipe it all down. You can use it to treat the tires and to clean the braid, and once that application dries, you will have excellent traction. You can periodically just clean it all off and reapply it if needed. And like I said, there's two ways you can run this track. You can run it slick as if you were drifting, or you can run it with extra traction once you get the track fully seasoned. When you are done racing, simply reverse everything, put the cars away, disconnect everything from the control panel, and now the track is ready to be folded up, and it literally just folds up just as easy as how we set it up. It would reverse the process that we did to set it up, so we'd start from the other end and fold it back down this way. So to fold the track up, if the track were on the floor, I would just be flipping this over and then folding those two sections up. With me being in the basement here with a low ceiling, I'm going to have to lift all these all at once. And then I'm going to pull this in like this, bring it around, lay this down, and that's it. The track has been folded up. You can put the end caps on and then store it wherever you want to store it. It's just that simple, just that quick. This is the kit that comes with the track. It has everything you need to race. It includes not only the controllers and the power packs, cars, but also a service kit with parts and tools. Remove some of the shipping foam. We have our two cars. We have an oiler for the cars, a pinpoint oiler. Here's the two power packs, one for each lane. Your two high quality controllers. We have the light oil that can be used to season the track for better traction. You can use it to clean your tires, use it to clean the braid. It comes with a cord to allow you to plug in the two power packs together. A rag to help clean up the oil. Comes with some glue in the event that maybe the braid might come up from the track. This is the glue that you would need to glue it back down. Various tools. Here is a guide nut driver if you have to, for any reason, have to remove or replace the guide. You've got a hex wrench used for removing the tires or adjusting the gears. Small flat blade screwdriver, which comes in handy for popping the body screws out to take the bodies off. A braid brush allows you to straighten out the braid, make it nice and smooth so the car picks up power better. Then you have a complete parts kit. The kit has things that possibly could be damaged early on, or need to be replaced. So that way, if you have any issues on the first few days that you're running the track, it won't shut you down. You've got a replacement gear, replacement guide, some braids, some of the really tiny screws that are used to hold things together on the car in case you lose those, and some body clips, which have been known to pop out if you have an accident, and so there's some replacements if you can't find it. Basically, the items in here are just intended to make sure that when you get this track, there's no reason you'll have, nothing will stop you from racing that day if you had some sort of problem. All of these things are available separately from a distributor, and so anything you need, you want to add more cars, buy different controllers, need more parts, everything can be bought separately, and so this track can be maintained over the years. The cars are high quality, purchased from a US supplier. They're completely maintainable, all the parts are available. Steel chassis with the gear driven system that you can replace the gears if they wear out. Oil-light bushings. The bodies clip on and can be replaced. They're very sturdy bodies that will withstand many different accidents without any issues. Thanks for watching the QuickStart setup and information video. The QuickStart Raceway is made here in the United States, and it's made literally just one at a time per order. If you would like to purchase a QuickStart Raceway, go to robertshobbies.com, www.robertshobbies.com. There you'll find all the information on how to purchase a track.